Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, the 13th of June, 2022, and I just got back from the dentist. So my upper lip is still very, very frozen, and I got my teeth fixed. And so, like, just a story regarding that is that in my early 20s, like, I was a C6 machine gunner when I was going through phase training and stuff like that, just to see if I could handle like this like very large machine gun. And then so when I was an officer, like I still like really like paid attention to the machine guns in like the weapon systems in our platoon and company level. And so there was one time where it was raining a lot during this like battle group exercise, and it was raining a lot, and like there was a machine gun just like out yeah, you know what I mean, and just like getting rained on and rusted and stuff like that. So it was like I was super tired. It was really, really early morning, but like I just took it, and like I was trying to get the butt off, but it was like rusted on. And so like I just like yanked it too hard, and I actually hit myself in the face with the butt of a C6 machine gun. Did it myself. And so I actually broke my tooth, and they put in a temporary filling or whatever you want to call it. But I had that like for like so many years, right? And it was discolored, and it was like supposed to fall off after 7 years, and it didn't, and stuff like that. So I just decided to finally get it fixed. And so that's the story on that. And because it was like the front tooth, they wanted to match like the other tooth, and so like just to make things even, right? And so it is what it is. And yeah, so it's been a bit of an interesting few weeks and weekend, and I hope everyone had a good weekend. Mine was interesting. Yeah, I just there's just a lot of infighting, I guess, within Canada, and it doesn't even matter like how you identify or how you judge others. Um, it just seems that everyone is just against each other. It's just really, really weird. And so, like, I have contacts on Signal and Telegram that are warning me of other groups that are within Canada that may be like looking to, cause harm to Canada or to Canadians, and um and that is not the answer. Like I just can't stress this stuff enough. And but also painting people and exaggerating people's ties or people's behaviors or actions, or embellishing what people have said, and doing that again like with like amongst people that are trying to like end mandates, for example. Like I know that there's like a lot of ego even with people like for as part of the Freedom Convoy, for example. And that was my my argument or debate, I guess, this weekend was surrounding that. And because there's people that want to do peaceful arrests, and I'm pretty sure they're law enforcement people, but like I was getting told that like there should not be like any of that happening. Like it needs to be peaceful, and I'm like, yeah, like anyone that talks to me, it's always about peace. And if they're not talking to me about peace, then I make it about peace. And because that again is like accessing your higher levels of emotions, higher levels of awareness. Like you're not making people in a like a feel like they're threatened or in a survival situation, and like not able to like access their rational thought. So there's no reason to ever try to incite harm or violence. And this is stuff that people like Justin Trudeau and our Mayor Jim Watson and Chrystia Freeland and the people in cabinet that are calling Chris Sky and Patrick King white supremacists. Like these are people that are misguided. They're causing division. They're lying. Marco Mendicini, again this weekend, lying in cabinet, and trying to get like our own law enforcement to take the fall for him, like making up reasons to declare an emergency act. And on that as well with the Freedom Convoy. Obviously, I didn't plan it. I said that from the beginning. My stories are still saved. I have a video that like I had posted just before they got here. It was removed, but I can reshare it. It just got removed again, but I can send it to people personally. But yeah, like these are things that are bought and paid for by leftists and right extremists, I'm sure. But like Black Lives Matter, Antifa, the convoys, protests, all these things, like even like border issues, like in the States, like they're highly embellished, and there's actors that are paid to go to different places and cause violence or cause harm or cause distractions or elicit emotional responses. And yeah, and so like this is like all the stuff that happens. And there's a lot of cops I know, a lot of people that are in the security industry that were really upset with how people were behaving downtown, and rightfully so. and we were trying to make it peaceful. Even other truckers, trying to make it peaceful, and getting brake lines cut, getting damage to their vehicles, like just just nothing that's conducive to like actually like implementing any kind of like policy changes or regulation changes or any mandates. It just frustrated people. It caused a lot of division. And if any of these scenarios or roles actually played out that people like me were calling out before it would happen, then I don't know what would have happened, right? So like these freedom convoy people, oops, that are claiming that like they're peaceful and what they're doing matters, and all this stuff, like I'm gonna say that like if it wasn't for a lot of people working overtime or veterans like going out into the community and making sure things were peaceful. And by the way, people got charged, people got fired for helping support like this like the freedom convoy being as peaceful as it was, putting their own their own lives at risk because again of their training and because they were government people, and then getting like screwed over essentially, like because like it didn't work, and it didn't, well, I mean, it did work. Like there was a lot less, again, like destruction and chaos and disaster, whatever you want to call it, than there would have been had people within the community that knew that the convoy was coming, that knew that this was there was going to be riot scenes and homeless scenes and war monument scenes and parliament scenes and drunken disorderly scenes and broken bottle scenes and so many other scenes. Yeah, like even honking like was also actors like starting honking like to annoy people. It's all annoying. But what I'm saying is that even like when just because you say freedom like ahead of something doesn't necessarily mean that like that's what it's about, right? And so when you look at the anonymous donors and you know who it is that even funded like the majority of the people that were involved in this, then you would ask just like a few more questions. And so um yeah, so the Emergency Act was, they wanted to declare that within that first weekend. They wanted to claim that like the group was a bunch of white supremacists. They're still trying to push that party line, even though people that they're claiming are, the reason why they are, by the way, Pat King, he province of Alberta, like he took their government to court, and the case had to be dropped because he wanted them to prove that they were able to isolate the variant for this COVID virus, and not able to do so, and so he's been just like more of an advocate to end mandates and not impose vaccines on people, based on a lot of like misinformation in various media outlets, especially within Canada. So they're painting him as something that he's not. And then even with Chris Sky, like this guy, he's married to an Asian woman, and like his friends that he's had for decades, not just within the last couple of years because it looks good for their image, but like all backgrounds, and races and ethnicities and languages, and that's very very clear for people that actually like listen to what he says or look at his videos on his social media, and or like ask questions, I guess, with people that would know things about him, and just get references, and then you would see that like again, you're just being fed lies by people that should know better, and like, these are guys that are in Senate, these are guys that are in cabinet that are getting paid six figures, and have no idea what they're talking about, and saying words that cause so much hate. Like even Dr. Jordan Peterson was called a white supremacist, and if anyone still believes that, without even ever reading any of his books or listening to any of his lectures or looking at any of his like YouTube videos that are out there for free, then like I feel so like frustrated because like how can someone be so hateful and so opinionated and so resentful and vilify people if you have no idea what you're talking about? You're just listening to CTV or Fox or whatever, and then thinking that that's reality, even though they keep on retracting everything they say or most of what they say. It takes time, and then they apologize, but like the damage is already done, right? And even what's going on in Europe, there's a lot of misinformation there as well. It's a lot more gray and complicated than people understand, and it's it's again, it doesn't help us And so this is like the frustrating stuff. And I don't want to be negative again, but there's just like a lot of like, even with Marco Mendicini again, like how is he still our chief like health advisor or whatever he is, when like we keep on like he keeps on getting embarrassed in cabinet because he says things, I guess for liberal media to like record and make it look like that's real, and then he gets um you know there's other people that like I guess call him out on what he just said, and make it very apparent that he just lied. And then but does the media like share that side too? No, they get this guy that's lying about things, they think that's reality, and they don't get the rebuttal that is actually the complete opposite of the reality of what this guy just said. And Justin Trudeau does the same thing. He has these like big speeches that he says, and I've shared that as well, but they're lies, and then as soon as the other side has a rebuttal, that's not shared. But the rebuttal again just proves that what that person literally just said is so like incorrect. It's frustrating, but yeah, still in Canada, still mandates. There's people that still think that there was some kind of like an attempted coup, uh, that was part of like the Freedom Convoy, when that was not the case either, right? So like when you paint people as in a certain way that's not reality, this is what causes so much division and hate. And so like even within the community trying to end mandates, for example, like people are not really seeing the hypocrisy within their groups, and like they're saying like, oh, those guys are like white supremacists, those guys are bad. But it's like they could say the same thing about you because everyone else is saying the same thing about you. Like guys are giving me like these anyways, it is what it is. I can't even get it too much into to stuff, but just like before you make judgments on people, just like possibly ask ask, look more into it, look into like social media posts, look at videos if they're posting videos to try to clarify things, and just talk to people. Yeah, and that's all I got for today. I hope that everyone has a wonderful day, and yeah.